Michele Foucault's Panopticism stems out of Jeremy Bentham's concept of the panopticon as an architectural design and an idea that epitomizes his views on surveillance and social reform. Bentham's ideas were conceived in the late 18th century. The panopticon designed as a circular building with a central observation tower and an outer ring of cells. This structure was intended for use as a prison, but Bentham proposed that its principles could apply to any facility requiring supervision, for example, such as hospitals, schools, and of course workhouses during that period. The essence of the panopticon's design allows a single watchman to observe all inmates in the peripheral cells without the inmates being able to tell whether they are being watched. This uncertainty is meant to induce a state of conscious and permanent visibility that ensures the automatic functioning of power. Because the inmates cannot know when they are under surveillance, they're kind of compelled to regulate their own behavior at all times, effectively controlling themselves. Bentham believed that the panopticon would ensure efficiency, transparency, and of course moral reform. He argued that this design would provide a cost-effective way to control and reform inmates while allowing for the inspection of conditions by external observers. Despite his enthusiasm and several attempts to have the panopticon built, Bentham's design was never realized in his lifetime, although similar principles have been incorporated into some prison designs later on. The panopticon has had a lasting impact beyond architecture, influencing discussions on surveillance, power, and governance. Michele Foucault being one of them. He in particular used the panopticon as a metaphor to explore how modern societies have adopted surveillance as a primary method of controlling and disciplining populations, extending the concept into the realms of social theory and the critique of power structures. Now, Michel Foucault died in 1984. He was a French philosopher, historian of ideas, social theorist, and of course he was a literary critic. Certainly one of the most influential and controversial thinkers of the 20th century. Michel Foucault's work is associated with structuralist and post-structuralist movements, although he often distanced himself from these labels. Michel Foucault's scholarship spanned a wide range of subjects in the humanities and social sciences, including history, sociology, psychology, and of course, philosophy. He is well known or best known for his critical studies of social institutions such as psychiatry, medicine, the human sciences, the prison system, and of course the history of human sexuality. His major works include Madness and Civilization, The Birth of the Clinic, Discipline and Punishment, and of course the multi-volume The History of Sexuality. Foucault's analyses focused on the relationship between power and knowledge and how they are used as a form of social control through societal institutions. He is well known for and introduced several influential concepts such as biopower, discourse, power knowledge, and of course governmentality. Foucault argued that power is not merely repressive, but also productive, in that it creates knowledge and constructs realities. He explored how power operates through the creation of knowledge, the management of bodies, and the governance of populations. Foucault's work has had a profound impact on various disciplines, including philosophy, history, sociology, political science, and cultural studies. His ideas have inspired critical theory and discussions about identity, power, discourse, and the self in contemporary society. Despite the complexity of his theories and the breadth of his interests, Foucault's analysis of power mechanisms and his insights into the social construction of knowledge and norms continue to be highly relevant in the analysis of contemporary social and political issues. Michele Foucault's discussion on panopticism is a crucial element of his broader critique of power and surveillance in society. This concept is most prominently detailed in his 1975 work, Discipline and Punishment, The Birth of the Prison. Foucault uses the panopticon and architectural design, as mentioned by Jeremy Bentham in the late 18th century, as a metaphor to explore how modern society imposes discipline and surveillance. The panopticon is designed as a circular building with a central watchtower from which a single guard can observe all the inmates who are housed in the cells around the perimeter. The key feature of this design is that although the inmates can't see the guard, they know they could be watched at any moment. This uncertainty induces a state of conscious and permanent visibility that assures the automatic functioning of power. Therefore, the panopticon creates a situation where inmates regulate their own behavior because they believe they are being watched, reducing the need for force. Foucault extends this principle beyond prisons to argue that panopticism is a model of power and control in many aspects of society, including schools, hospitals, and workplaces. According to Foucault, modern societies increasingly use surveillance, discipline, and regulatory practices to control populations, making the principle of visibility a key means of social control. Panopticism for Foucault is not just about surveillance or observing individuals. It's about how the possibility of surveillance internalizes discipline, leading individuals to self-regulate their behavior. Foucault's analysis has been influential in the study of power dynamics, surveillance, and social control, and it has become increasingly relevant in the context of modern technologies such as CCTV and digital surveillance, highlighting how the principle of panopticism can be applied and understood in contemporary digital societies. Please, class, use this to nuance your answers in the exams.